Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. So, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got some big decisions to make at Manchester United. I think definitely Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got a goalkeeping decision to make, between David De Gea and Dean Henderson. There has been stories coming out saying that we are considering making Dean Henderson our number one goalkeeper next season. Of course, Dean Henderson is on loan with Sheffield United at the moment, and he will be staying on loan with Sheffield United for the remainder of the season. This has been Dean Henderson's second loan spell with Sheffield United. And I've got to say, he has been a revelation for Sheffield United, and he has been Sheffield United's player of the season. I think Dean Henderson has still got a contract with us until 2022. Dean Henderson's also had some other loan spells as well, with Grimsby, Stockport and Shrewsbury. Obviously, we're not going to get rid of Dean Henderson permanently because we do see him as a long-term replacement for David De Gea. And, he's the foreseeable future for Manchester United. So, yeah, like I said, Solskjaer's got a goalkeeping decision to make. I do believe, David De Gea does now need to be dropped. You saw Roy Keane on Sky Sports at halftime yesterday criticising David De Gea. He also criticised Harry Maguire as well because David De Gea and Harry Maguire were accountable for Steven Bergwijn's goal. In reality, David De Gea should have saved it and Harry Maguire, of course, should have defended it. But Roy Keane, did say that, De Gea and Harry Maguire should get their taxi back to Manchester. He did say that David De Gea is overrated. And he said, he's sick to death of David De Gea and that. Like I mentioned on my recent video when I did my player ratings earlier on. I mentioned on that video, didn't I? That, Solskjaer had responded, to what Roy Keane has said regarding David De Gea. And Solskjaer's actually, come out and defended David De Gea and all of that. So he does need to be dropped. David De Gea is now into his 9th season at Manchester United. So he has been a long servant at the football club. David De Gea has been with us since 2011. We got him from Atletico Madrid for around £17 million. So he has been here since the Alex Ferguson era. I think analysing it, David De Gea's had a good 7 years out of the 9 years he's been at Manchester United. I think overall he's still regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Reflecting on what he's achieved at the club, because he has won the club's player of the year like 4 times out of the past 6 years. He's also won everything here domestically in that, but in the last 2 years he has definitely been a liability, reflecting on the amount of mistakes he has made. David De Gea, don't forget, is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, and he's the highest paid at the football club because he's on 375 grand a week last year. David De Gea signed a new long-term contract with Manchester United. Now, I think, David De Gea could be leaving the football club. Maybe, not this year, but maybe sometime next year, David De Gea could leave Manchester United. I think, when he does leave the club, he will go back to Spain because David De Gea, began his footballing career in Spain. Obviously, his girlfriend lives in Spain. I think his relatives are from Spain as well. Don't forget, back in 2015, David De Gea was close to making the move to Real Madrid on deadline day. But De Gea's move to Madrid didn't materialise because of the fax machine and all of that. I think David De Gea has nearly made 400 appearances for us now in all competitions, and he is in his late 20s. Some people think, Roy Keane went over the top, by criticising David De Gea like that. But yeah, so Dean Henderson, probably will be our number one next season. Don't forget, we've also got Sergio Romero as well. He's another one of our goalkeepers, but he's obviously, not reliable enough yet, to become our number one keeper. Romero tends to play in the cup games. Obviously, we've got Lee Grant. He's hardly played since he came in. We got Lee Grant in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. Joe Pereira, of course, is out on loan. Another decision that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to make, and that is on Victor Lindelof and Eric Bailly. What's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going to do? Is he going to keep Victor Lindelof alongside Harry Maguire? Because obviously, they've been our first choice centre-halves this season. Or is he going to put Bailly ahead of Victor Lindelof and that? Because Victor Lindelof, didn't play great yesterday night against Tottenham. I thought he struggled at times in that back line. I thought, he got caught out, far too easily, when Tottenham were counter-attacking. Victor Lindelof, now is into his third season at Manchester United. And, we did get him under the Jose Mourinho era. He struggled in his first season. Didn't really find that consistency. But I think last season, a lot of aspects of his game improved. And I think for the vast majority of this season, he has been very, very good. But he's also had a few bad games as well. But some Manchester United fans would say put Bailly now ahead of Victor Lindelof and put Victor Lindelof as the backup. As it stands at the moment, Bailly's the backup. Bailly's a very, very good centre-half and probably is better than Victor Lindelof. Bailly's composure is very, very good. He's good at playing the ball out from the back. My only element of concern about Eric Bailly is that, he is injury prone. Eric Bailly is now into his fourth season at Manchester United. We did get him under the Jose Mourinho era. It was actually, Jose Mourinho's first signing. We did pay around £30 million for him. So he's got a decision to make on Lindelof and Eric Bailly. Another decision that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got to make, and that is left back. Because we are facing a bit of a dilemma at left back, let's be honest. I think for the remainder of this season, probably Luke Shaw is going to remain our first choice left back. Because, Luke Shaw is more experienced than Brandon Williams, and obviously, Solskjaer will go on that. But, still, Brandon Williams has enjoyed a very, very good season for Manchester United. This has been Brandon Williams' first season in the senior squad. I think he's played around 20-odd games for us throughout the course of this season as Brandon Williams. But I think we'll stick with Luke Shaw for the remainder of the season. Of course, Luke Shaw is now this has been his sixth season with Manchester United. I think we did get him in 2014 from Southampton. Didn't we pay around £30 million for him? My only element of concern about Luke Shaw, injury prone. But, since he did come back from injury, he's done very, very well. I don't think he was the worst player on the pitch yesterday for Manchester United. You saw my player ratings earlier on. I thought Luke Shaw going forward was okay, but couldn't really crave any real openings, so that was obviously disappointing. You can say he was also accountable for Steven Bergwijn's goal as well, and I don't think his decision making was too good either, was Luke Shaw's. But you can actually play Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams in the same team, obviously if Solskjaer decides to go with 3 at the back or maybe 5 at the back and that. So he's got a decision to make at left back. He's also got to make a decision in that midfield. What midfield 3 is Solskjaer going to go with? What's going to be his first choice midfield trio, basically? Now, my first choice midfield trio would be Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay. Some United fans have got different perceptions in it. Some United fans would say Bruno Fernandes, Pogba and Fred. Some United fans would say Bruno Fernandes, Pogba and Matic, because actually, Matic is the only holding midfielder we have got on all of that. So United fans, will have different perceptions on that. So he's got to make a decision on our midfield. I think Solskjaer's also got to make a decision on Anthony Martial. Me, personally speaking, I don't think Anthony Martial is an automatic starter. Because, he has been starting, a lot of games throughout the course of this season. I think maybe some United fans now saying that Martial does need to be dropped. Of course, Martial has been playing in that number 9 role this season for the football club, so he has been playing centrally. But Martial doesn't predominantly play centrally. Martial predominantly plays out wide on, the left-hand side, because in the 4 previous seasons prior to this one, Martial has been playing on that left-hand side. Martial is now into his 5th season at Manchester United. His 5th season at the club. Don't forget me wrong, before the football season got suspended, he was in a good vein of form. I think he's got a good 18 or 19 goals this season. But he's done well under Solskjaer. But I think the best season Anthony Martial enjoyed was his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. We did get him under Louis van Gaal for around £36 million, got him from Monaco and that. And we did get him as, we got him at the age of 19, and now, of course, he is 24. I wasn't too impressed with Anthony Martial yesterday night in the game against Tottenham. I think, he had one great chance in the second half and all of that. I just don't think he was that good. I thought he improved in the second half, but for the vast majority of the game, he was quite quiet, was Anthony Martial. So some United fans, would drop Anthony Martial now, or at least if not drop him, put him back out wide and probably, put Rashford maybe in, the number 9. I personally think, though, Rashford's better out wide than he is, in that central position, but United fans, will have different verdicts on that. So they're the decisions, really, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to make. I do believe now as well he's got to make a decision on Daniel James. Daniel James wasn't so good yesterday either. Wasn't the worst player on the pitch, but, he wasn't too good, Daniel James. He's played a lot of games this season for Man United. I think he's played around 38 games for us in all competitions. Of course, we did get Daniel James last summer from Swansea for just £15 million. I think when we signed him, didn't he sign was it a 5 or 5.5 year deal at the football club? I have been very, very impressed with him, but he wasn't too good yesterday. So I think a lot of United fans now would play Mason Greenwood ahead of Daniel James. Put Greenwood on the right hand side. Because I think Greenwood's enjoyed an exceptional season for the football club. I think he's got around, 12, 13 goals in all competitions this season. Greenwood is the backup, to the likes of Rashford and Martial at the moment. But I think eventually, Greenwood will develop as he develops more. I think, he'll emulate to Rashford's level and, and all of that. I really, really do. And I think Greenwood is only the age of 19. But very, very impressive when he came off the bench yesterday. Had that chance right at the end, put it wide. Could have won it for Manchester United. So these decisions that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has definitely got to make at Manchester United. There's probably decisions that we've got to make ahead of next season as well. There's decisions that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to make in the summer transfer window. Of obviously, what players he's going to recommend into the club. Solskjaer said, he wants to make around 3 or 4 major signings at the end of the season, because he believes we need this to become title contenders next season, because obviously analysing it at the moment, City strides ahead of us and Liverpool are strides ahead of us and that. And he's got to decide as well, what players he's going to get rid of in the summer transfer window. I think Solskjaer's got an idea of the players he's going to get rid of in the summer transfer window. I think we're looking to get rid of Phil Jones. He's out injured at the moment. We're looking to get rid of Smalling permanently. We're also looking to get rid of Marcus Rojo permanently. Smalling at the moment is out on loan with Roma. Rojo's out on loan at Estudiantes. We're looking to get rid of Jesse Lingard. We're looking to get rid of Andres Pereira. So these still deadwood in the squad. Angel Gomez, we've got to know what's happening with him as well. Solskjaer did say in his press conference prior to the game against Tottenham, that Angel Gomez was close to signing a new contract with Manchester United. The Athletic did report out earlier on this week saying that we was close to getting him a new contract, but no agreement has yet been reached. The new contract we've offered him is reportedly worth around £30,000 a week. We've put forward a few contract offers for Angel Gomez, but he has turned these down. I think Angel Gomez has only made 6 first team appearances this season for Manchester United and that. Of course, we've got Sheffield United next. That is at Old Trafford. I think it is on the 24th of June, which is, of course, now 3.5 days' time. I presume in that game against Sheffield United, Solskjaer will be making changes from the 1-1 draw against Tottenham yesterday night. He definitely will be making changes. I think Solskjaer, has got an idea, of what his best 11 is. And I think he's got an idea, of what his best formation is as well. Because, Solskjaer has tried a few different elements at Man United. He's changed formation persistently. But for the vast majority of this season, Solskjaer's gone with that 4-2-3-1. A few times he's gone, with a 3-4-1-2. A few times he's gone with a 4-3-3. I think in the games against the likes of Chelsea and Manchester City, he went with the 5-3-2 formation and all of that. Sheffield United is going to be a difficult game for us, don't get me wrong. We should still win it though because we're at home. Either way, Dean Henson will not be involved in that game, I heard. But it's going to be hard because Sheffield United have enjoyed an exceptional season. No one expected them to be in the position that they're in. Where are they sitting in the league? Is it 6th or 7th or something like that? And you've got to admire Chris Wilder because he's done very, very well at Sheffield United. He's progressed Sheffield United all the way from League One to, like 6th or 7th in the Premier League. I think Sheffield United is the 5th club in his managerial career because I think before he was at Sheffield United, he obviously managed low teams, didn't he? He managed the likes of, was it Oxford? He managed Northampton at one point. He managed Halifax, and I think he also managed Alfred Town as well. Sheffield United have got some good players. I think Norwood's very good for them. They've got McBurney. They've also got that Billy Sharp. I think they've got Phil Jagielka and Jack Rodwell as well of Sheffield United. So, it will not be an easy game. The reverse fixture against Sheffield United was 3-3 at Bramall Lane earlier on in the season. I think we was actually 2-0 down in that game. But, we actually came back, made it 3-2, and then I think Sheffield United scored the third late on. I think they've also got that John Fleck as well of Sheffield United. He seems to be a very, very decent player for them. But now, we've got 8 games remaining in the Premier League. And, like I said, we've got the easiest running out of all the Premier League teams. I'd say we've got the easiest running. I think, the only difficult games we've got now is probably the Sheffield United one and the Leicester one on the final game of the season. But prior to that, we really haven't. I think we should win at least 6 of our 8 remaining games. I really, really do in that. Definitely top 4 is still on for Manchester United. Top 4 is definitely still on for us, even though, we drew with Tottenham yesterday night. As it stands now, we are sitting 2 points behind Chelsea. We're sitting 2 points behind Chelsea. We do want that top 4 because, we do want qualification for the Champions League for next season. So it can help us have more of a competitive summer transfer market, and so we can attract players to the elite level, and plus if we get qualification for the Champions League we'll generate money and all of that. But it all basically depends on Manchester City's 2-year European ban. Manchester City's 2-year European ban, if it is upheld, I think 5th place is a Champions League spot. So there you go. But I still think Manchester United can finish in that top 4. Even if we'd have lost the game yesterday, even if we'd have lost to Tottenham yesterday, I still think, there'd have been a chance of top 4 for Manchester United. But the positive is that, we have extended our unbeaten run now to 12. No, sorry, is it 12? Yeah, 12 in all competitions. So hopefully, we can beat Sheffield United, and then that will extend our unbeaten 1 to 13 in all competitions. But this has been our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. We've got a chance, as well of, winning 2 trophies this season under Solskjaer. We can win the FA Cup. We are into the last 8. We have got Norwich in the last 8 of the FA Cup. So in reality, we should be progressing to the semi-finals. It's looking likely Norwich are going down. The bottom of the Premier League. They lost 3-0 to Southampton yesterday. Also, too, we are more or less into our last 8 of the Europa League because we are 5-0 up against Lask from the first leg. So if we could get top 4 and we could win the FA Cup and the Europa League, that would be a fantastic achievement for Solskjaer and Manchester United. But, Tottenham, they've been in a really, really bad vein of form, winless now in their last 7 games. I'd probably say now top 4 is over for Tottenham anyway. I did say, didn't I, Tottenham will not finish above us, and, I don't think, Tottenham will get that top 4. I really, really don't, and that. I'd have preferred us, obviously, to beat Tottenham yesterday. Obviously, Solskjaer was looking to beat Jose Mourinho for the second time as a manager, because Solskjaer's already overcome Jose Mourinho once. because we did beat Tottenham earlier on in the season by 2-1 at Old Trafford. Marcus Rashford had scored twice in that game, and I think Dele Alli had also scored. And SOlSJAKER, of course, was looking to beat Tottenham for the third time as a manager as well, because he's already beaten Tottenham twice, since he got recommended in to Manchester United. Like I said to you, I think didn't I mention it on my reaction on my video that I did this morning? I think, SOlSJAKER tactically got some things right and he tactically got some things wrong as well. So this is, something that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does need to work on, without a shadow of a doubt. But like I said to you on my match reaction yesterday, I thought we dominated the game. We had better of the chances. Like I mentioned, Rashford, he had 2 good opportunities, should have scored. Martial had an opportunity in the second half. Did he have another one? Greenwood had that chance right at the end. Tottenham, they did okay in parts of the game. Like I said, I think their most threatening players were Heung-min Son and Steven Bergwijn. Like I said, for Tottenham, Harry Kane, he was very, very quiet. But prior to Tottenham's goal and prior to, that Son chance they had, David De Gea had to make a world-class save from that. Tottenham, didn't really create anything. Like I said yesterday night, it was our first visit to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham did pay around £1 billion, for their stadium. I think they are paying it in instalments, if I am correct. And I think it was also our 58th visit to a new away ground in the Premier League and that. But, I actually, thought we was going to win the game. I was very, very confident going into it. Don't forget, we've done very, very well against the Big Six sides this season. We've now taken 18 points against the Big Six sides this season. We had a fully fit squad, apart from Phil Jones and Tuanzebe, because Solskjaer, confirmed, they were injured. Tottenham were missing a few players. Obviously, Dele Alli, he had a 1-game suspension from the FA for them coronavirus offensive social media posts. And he got fined £50,000. I think Tottenham were also missing Tanganga as well. So, they did have quite a few injuries. But top 4, is definitely a priority for Tottenham, because there's nothing else Tottenham can play for, because they can't win anything in terms of Silverware. They're not in the FA Cup. Tottenham, they're not in the Champions League also as well. But like I said to you, I think the bad mistake Tottenham made was recommending Jose Mourinho in. They should have never recommended him in. I think Tottenham should have stuck with Mauricio Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino endured 5.5 years with Tottenham. I think definitely as well in the game against Sheffield United, Pogba, should start that game. I don't know really why he didn't start in the game yesterday. I think quite a lot of Manchester United fans, will be questioning that. Why was Paul Pogba bench? Why didn't he start? Why didn't he start? But Paul Pogba did make his first appearance for the club in 176 days. Pogba made a fantastic impact when he came on, by the way. He really, really did. Obviously, he got us the penalty, did Pogba. He got fouled by Eric Dyer. And Bruno Fernandes, of course, had converted the penalty. So basically, Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes had saved us. It was well taken penalty, by the way, from Bruno Fernandes. I think that's now 4 goals and 4 assists for Bruno Fernandes since he came in. He's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. We did get Bruno Fernandes in January for around £65 million. Well, it was a deal worth around £65 million, and I think Fernandes signed like a 5.5-year deal at the football club. But he has definitely made the difference in the team. Like I said, we brought our 5 subs on yesterday. Of course, we brought Agallo on, we brought Matic on, we brought Pogba on, we brought Bailly on, and we brought, Mason Greenwood on as well. But, there's still aspects of our game, that do need to improve. We need to be more clinical in front of goal. We need to score more goals, like I mentioned, and that. But hopefully, in the game against Sheffield United, he gets it spot on. But I think probably, we'll start the game against, Sheffield United anyway. So there you go. There you go and all of that. And I just want to give you some news on some transfers as well. I want to give you some news now regarding Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. I've been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho on a regular basis. Now, according to recent reports, Borussia Dortmund, I think it's Michael Zorg, the sporting director, he said Borussia Dortmund are concerned about Jadon Sancho's future. So Jadon Sancho, could still possibly be leaving Borussia Dortmund in the summer transfer window. Don't forget Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist. He recently said, Fabrizio Romano, that, Sancho will accept an offer from Manchester United. But, he's confirmed we've not yet put an official bid in for the player. And, we haven't inquired about, getting Jadon Sancho. He's also said that, the contract isn't the problem. The stumbling block of Sancho coming to Man United is Borussia Dortmund's asking price. Because the story's coming out saying that Dortmund want around 115 million for Sancho. It said this from the Telegraph the other week that Dortmund wanted around £115 million. But we've already said, we are not willing to smash our transfer record for Sancho. Of course, Lucien Favre, the Borussia Dortmund boss, he came out recently and said, Jadon Sancho could still leave Borussia Dortmund in the summer transfer window. Then you had Borussia Dortmund's head of football, Sebastian Kehl. He said that he expects Sancho to stay at Dortmund for another year and that. I think Dortmund have been in the process of trying to extend Jadon Sancho's contract, but he's not willing to extend his contract. Sancho has got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022, so still like a few years left on his contract. But I think Jadon Sancho has revealed that his preferred option is a move to Manchester United if he does decide to leave Borussia Dortmund and that. Borussia Dortmund are basically looking to make a huge profit on the player. Because obviously, Dortmund only paid £8 million for him from Manchester City. And obviously, analyse his performances in the few years he's been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown. So they're looking to make a £100 million profit on Jadon Sancho. There were stories coming out, earlier on this week, saying that he's willing to make a return to Manchester City. Because, we are struggling to meet Borussia Dortmund's asking price. So, this is why. He is a former Manchester City player, but the main explanation why Sancho left Manchester City is because he did not get any first-team opportunities. And before he was at Manchester City, he was at Watford. And he was at Watford for several years. He's starting now for, obviously, Borussia Dortmund, because, obviously, now he is back from that calf injury. Don't forget the other week, Sancho got fined around £8,000 for breaking lockdown rules, and Dortmund, then said, they was losing patience with Jadon Sancho. But Dortmund also said, if Jadon Sancho wants to leave Dortmund, they will not step in his way. They won't step in his way. And we've already confirmed we are willing to offer Jadon Sancho the number 7 if he comes to Manchester United, because we have got number 7 vacant at the moment. Just wait there a second, guys. We have got number 7 vacant at the moment, and like I said, we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations and that. But Jadon Sancho does remain our number 1 priority target. Another one of our priority targets is Jack Grealish as well. I give you the latest news regarding Jack Grealish recently. Of course, he recently got charged by police after a lockdown car accident. This is the second offence now. I think it was something to do without care. That's what Sky Sports had said. But don't forget, he had the incident with his £80,000 Range Rover back in March. And I think Grealish then had been fined around £150,000. Grealish has already said that he wants to leave Aston Villa regardless of whether they stay up or get relegated. Villa remain ruthless over their valuation. They've said they do want around £80 million for Jack Grealish and that. We've obviously, looked at a few alternatives to, Jadon Sancho and Jack Grealish. Obviously, we've recently inquired about the availability of Leon Bailey from Leverkusen. Reportedly, he's available for around £40 million. We've obviously, in recent weeks been in for Antoine Fati Vieira from Barcelona. So there's so many players on our agenda in that, but yeah. And, I heard the other week that we're going to get around £269 million to spend in the summer transfer window. So if that's the case, we should get the right calibre players in to the football club. And SOlSJAKER's already identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up and that. Because there is still deficiencies in the squad, where we need to strengthen up. Because you can see the areas where Manchester United are lacking and all of that. But like I've said to I have seen improvements under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Definitely seen improvements under him. Like I said, there's players that have improved under him. Also, too, especially the top players, they've improved under him. We've definitely improved in the transfer market under Solskjaer. What I mean is Solskjaer's recommended the players that he's wanted to recommend in so far. So I have seen improvements under the Norwegian, and I've also taken positives from his tenure so far. He's recruited 5 good players in. He's also got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into the football club. He's promoted the youth very, very well as well because, the young players have been given their opportunities at Manchester United. Likes of Greenwood's done well and Brandon Williams and all of that. But some young players there, again, have found game time very, very difficult. You've had Tahith Chong, found game time hard. Angel Gomez found game time hard. James Garner also found game time hard as well. So these positives you can take, and Solskjaer's been at the football club now for around 18 months or just over 18 months, So he has been here now for quite some time. But like I said, Solskjaer does deserve at least another season at Man United because, it is a transition period. And like Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year, he's hopeful that we can get through this transition period in that. Solskjaer knows he's got the backing of Ed Woodward because Ed Woodward has said on quite a few occasions this season he's willing to back him. And he's also got the backing of the Glazers as well as Solskjaer. But, United fans have got different perceptions on him. Some United fans think he's a foreseeable future. And some United fans think, we need a manager in at the top level, such as a Jurgen Klopp or a Pep Guardiola for prime example and that, But, it's going to take us quite a while to get back to where we want to be. Like I said, we haven't dominated English football since the Alex Ferguson era. Of course, Ferguson endured 26 years at Manchester United, won a total of 38 major honours in that. And the fear factor was there under Ferguson. But don't forget, he didn't settle in straight away, Ferguson, because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. So let's just put that into the equation now. But since his retirement, we have been playing catch-up for the last 7 years. We've had different managers with different philosophies. We spent close to the £1 billion range on players. We've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era. We've only won 3 trophies since Ferguson left, and that was the FA Cup under Van Gaal and the Europa League and the League Cup under Jose Mourinho. So there you go. So in reality, on the money we've spent in the last 7 years, we should be where Liverpool are. But I still think, Manchester United can finish the season on a high. I really, really do and that. But, this has been the 7th season now. We have failed to mount any kind of title challenge up. It is the 7th season. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes, below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon.